Oh, you're kidding. That was probably a fun recording. I want to make the house just a little bigger this time so people can see it kind of while we're doing this. Just a hair. And actually, you know what? I need it on my screen as well. Race car, I don't even know what day it is. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? It feels like a Thursday. Is it a Thursday? That would get you a little excited, Blackbeard. Hey, Heather, what's up, buddy? Ready to get into some roof action? Try to help me figure this out? Oh, Get Gaming, fancy seeing you here. Hello. Alright, let me look at this a second. Kind of decide how much higher I need to go. We know that the funky little window that kind of faces off to the weird little side of the house, basically the piece de resistance is that giant curved window, like on the 1, 2, 3rd level. So we kind of got to focus on that. Kind of before we start on the roof, we kind of need to make sure that kind of lines up. We know the rock work is almost finished, but we need a big circle window like right above this. So maybe we should start with that. Get the circle window in its place, and then we can kind of work from there. I don't know, Blackbeard. This is a, I don't even know what you'd call this. I found this sketch on Pinterest, and it looked like we could make it happen in Planet Zoo. So that's kind of the extent of it. I don't even have the back side. This is the only really side of this sketch I could find. So we're kind of rolling with that. If you want to get a good look at the little better look, I'm just going to make it big here just for a second. You guys can look at some of the detail and kind of see what we're rolling with here. So totally just a fantasy cottage, fantasy house that was just I randomly come across it on Pinterest, and that is kind of what we're rolling with here. All right, let's get this back up out of the way. Yep, the roof regret, technically. But I think we'll be okay. We've made it this far. So the tip of this classic window, see that? It's almost like the window in the game is almost, in the sketch is almost egg shape. But, oh wait, I forgot. This doesn't change, does it? That just changes something incredibly weird, like the glass color at night. But we can cover this with rock, I believe, mostly, so I think that'll be okay. So it's not right here at the tip of these windows, it's actually raised up a hair. And it kind of straddles the smallest little window going over, kind of like that, I'd say. Kind of like that, I'd say. I think that's a good spot for it. Looking at these little rocks kind of aggravated me looking at this throughout the last 2 days. But what we can do is get rid of a couple of these and replace them with some different colored ones. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. I know I got a little bit of a late start. I had to get my hair cut and pick up a little bit. Obviously, come home and jumped in the shower. But now I think we're ready to roll here. This Blackbeard is just a lot of little tedious work. This is kind of like what the whole first episode was, kind of laying these bricks one by one. Ended up being worth it though, because just see like the kind of like the character that stone gives it, because, you know, we don't just have a piece that just... We've got one piece that kind of looks like this, but it still would be... If I put all the walls together, it would still be a little too uniform. Herman said, which hair got cut? All of them. I got my hairs cut. All right, now looking at the concept art, we need to have... Wait, you know, before we do that, remember we said let's just make sure adding regular bits of rock, see if it looks strange or if it gives it a little more pop. So let's do that real quick before we really kind of mess with anything else or kind of move more vertical. Dang, you know, that actually doesn't look that bad. Just kind of like some random little rocks, kind of, see how it gives it like an uneven almost edge? Like, look at that uneven edge now. That looks pretty stinking cool. Hey, what's up, Micah? Thank you for stopping by again. As we continue our quest into this weirdness. We were, remember we still have a polar outpost on our radar still. But I just kind of wanted to jump in and try this first. And then we've kind of got we kind of have to set our sights on the cold. Because that's an idea I really think's interesting to explore. Like a, basically like, you know, over here, this is our Outback type little ranger station we put together. But we want to do that again, but just with a polar type of, you know, type of twist, just out in the snow, just kind of trying to see what we can make happen. And I definitely will not be able to use as much wood with that build. It's going to be a lot of steel, a lot of concrete, I feel. Yeah, those little bit of rocks break up that. Because even doing it kind of custom like this, you still kind of fight uniformity. You know? It's just like no matter how much you twist and bend these, in the end, they're still the same piece. So anything we can do to give this just a little different texture will help us. Casey must have went outside. I hear Pumpkin upstairs. Yeah, Heather, can be hard to fight it sometimes. You know, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of these games and kind of where you can set these builds apart if you can break up that uniformity. Casey's human dog. Pumpkin is she's a Jack Weenie. She's a part, she's half wiener dog, half Jack Russell. And she is feisty. There we go. What do you all think about that? Kind of bringing in a little bit of rock work you weren't expecting, huh? Whoops. But then too, you know, even with the rock work, you don't want to entirely overdo it. But see, like the little spots, I think we've placed just enough. Oh, little golden retriever puppy. When I think of a wholesome dog, like just a wholesome family dog, I think of golden retrievers. We kind of have to almost button up this side of the house too. Half a knees. Have a knees. Okay, now we can kind of start thinking about going vertical here. Really what we need to do though is, you know what? I might have to, well, let's just see. I was going to say I might have to take the rock work and try to get around this, but let's just see how this comes out. Because remember, all of this is going to have rock around it too. We're just kind of getting a general, like, rock frame outline here. Someone said had a parson, Jack Russell, when I was stationed in the UK, retired back to the USA, Texas, and Casey lived until 2010. He was 13 years old when he passed. Yeah, Casey had a chocolate lab. Her name was Lacey, and she lived to be 13. She just passed away like 4 months ago, and a lady coming to Casey's work with Pumpkin just for free, just said if anybody will take her. My dog had puppies, and she was the runt. Nobody, I guess they got rid of all the other brothers and sisters. Nobody wanted Pumpkin. And so when Casey first called me, I was like, no, like we just got used to not having to run home and let a dog out, and like we had started taking trips and stuff, and just not having to worry about somebody coming over to let Lacey out, a couple times a day and feed her. And then Casey called me about Pumpkin, and I was like, no, we do not need another dog right now. We're just now, getting used to life without a dog. But then she sent me a picture, and I was like, okay, well, go ahead and grab her. Because, as soon as I saw the picture of her, I was like, you're done. All right, so what we need to do is we need to focus on this front facade of the house here and kind of getting it flattened off, because you can see we kind of have to go up, almost getting ready to go into the roof work. We'll switch up some of these colors too, but I just want to kind of get this wall started. And now we know too, we got to add some we've got to add some rock work as well. Mm. 50% coyote. Uh-oh. That's still pretty cool, though. Coyotes are a decent little problem for farmers around here, I know for sure. We can probably fill that gap right there with rock work, but we'll kind of mess with that in a little bit. Joe, you have not missed much, my friend. We have just started the kind of like the third level. Seeing the concept art where that little round window is, like kind of right before we start getting into the roof area and we kind of end the rock work. That is what we're messing with right now. Just trying to get this kind of circle window looking good. And we're talking about puppies. We heard Pumpkin going off in the background. Yeah, gray seal, otter, sun bear, penguin. I personally am most excited for the otter. But yeah, when, we do not know. This transition right here looks pretty cool. See how we have like the curved stone of the window, but then it kind of, I think that looks pretty cool. Let's fill in some gaps real quick while we're thinking of it. Oh man, and thank you guys for subscribing to that to the ranger station like you have. I haven't had a piece subscribed to that much in a while. I'm still getting comments on that. I guess, Joe, I'm most excited for, like, to see what kind of animation they've implemented in with them. Like, that is probably my go-to reason of wanting to see the otter. Like, what are they really going to have them do? And hopefully, like we were saying to Claire yesterday, hopefully not just like animations that we already know. Hopefully it's like a whole new set of like animations ready to go for us. That stone looks a little bit too messy. I mean, even kind of with this rock design, there's almost like, you know, you've got messy, but you want it to be like messy believable, not just totally just haphazardly scattered, you know, all over the place. You want it to at least look like it would support the, you know, it would support itself there. So kind of flattening off that edge looks good. Yeah, I mean, like you said, at least we're moving in the right direction as far as aquatic animals go with the otter and the seal. They're throwing us a bone here. And you know, guys, we still have, like, there's a whole offshoot we have to do over here too. The rock filled those gaps in nicely though. Now we just kind of got to keep going a little higher. Thing is, right here, see that like weird, there's another weird little balcony that sticks out. So we might have to save this little area. Hey, Rob, no worries, buddy. We are just rolling along here with our fantasy house build. And it's almost time to add that big set of windows that we're going to have to hide most of it with rock. I'm just not sure. Let's go ahead and get them in place. So I'm going to back that off just a hair. So see, like, it's like half of it has to be hid with rock and half of it has to be hid with wood, like a wood border. Like this almost has like elvish flair to it, doesn't it? Like it could be like an elvish cottage maybe. It almost has like a, I don't know what you'd say, but it's interesting. So we know with this window, this is way up, pretty good ways up above the circle window. But they come down and almost they're level with this. So we've got one. Just trying to figure how we should do this. Because we know one kind of has to as far as the art goes, one has to meet. See how it meets over at that window that's facing this way? So it needs to, the windows start from here and make their way up past the circle window. Maybe not necessarily that high, but definitely at least this high. Stitchiot is here. Classic window 3. Let's take a look one moment. The only thing is, well, you know, it would match that style, but do we want to break up the style of the rest of the windows? I mean, they didn't differentiate too much in the concept art. Those windows could be a little different than the ones on the bottom, but they kind of all still run with that same theme. Oh, you know, we're just rolling along here. Trying to make it. All right, let's just try to get the bones of this together. See if I can make this look right. We're going to have to probably turn these just a hair. Whoops. Oh yeah, that's cool. New jobs are exciting. Yep, we got to see if Savannah shows up. You know, this doesn't look entirely too bad. I mean, you can kind of see we've got quite a bit of rock work left to do, but that staggering of those windows, because you can see there's some beefy rocks that are going to cover these up. Working to save up to start work at the Disney parks. It's my dream. Yeah, that would be cool. Especially if you hit it at a good time, like once everything kind of normals back out and, you know, they get like these vaccines going. Hopefully we won't have to deal with anything like this again in our lifetimes. Like, you know, hopefully we get this rolling and try to get life back to semi-normal. I know a lot of people, like a couple of our D&D guys, are going to, some of them are like where they live, they're going back into lockdowns and stuff. So definitely we still have a little bit to go, I think, before we're out of the woods, but it seems like they're making progress. Let's put it like this, there's a lot more people smarter than me out there trying to figure this out. There's Savannah. She showed up. Yeah, we were just talking about you. We said we had to complete the gang here. We got Heather. I don't know. We might be missing Linda. I think she had to go to bed because she's leaving. I think she's going out of town tomorrow. We got Herman here, Rob, Race Car. We got Joe, Stitchiot, Blackbeard, Bluefin, popped in for a little bit. Critters Abroad. Micah. And for you guys that have just popped in, Holly, we are continuing work on the Fantasy House. I know, we need no more pandemics. I think we have got our fill this year. All right, and you know, so we've got that wall is covered. Hey, thanks, Beezy. Beezy Build stopped by to check us out a minute. So next we need to get this gap filled in real quick. Hey, what's up, Jonas? Jonas was able to pop by. Rob Doe. Race car. Were the dudes able to get with you about your being able to like join that one-shot D&D session, or are you not going to be able to? I haven't checked the Discord yet to see if they saw what you had put. Because you know, Jonty is going to DM that. We were just going to do that one shot while you were gone on the 6th, but if you don't have to be gone, they may just make you a spot. Because we haven't even really started yet. We're still getting the little backstory together. Oh, I'm in the one shot. Okay, cool. You know, Herman, this probably wouldn't actually look too bad either to kind of stagger these rocks up here, because that looks pretty cool and it would expose more of the windows. I think we could do some artist interpretation here and kind of change up the look of the concept art just a hair. But, you know, we're still kind of sticking with the bones of it. And then, too, doing that, these wouldn't kind of stick out so weird. It would look almost... I just think it would look better. Sometimes curved windows and Planko, the planet universe, do not play well together. It is a hard concept sometimes. But that little turn, the little stacking and the turn of that third level, I think is going to be pretty cool, especially when we start working on the roof. Joe said, it's so great to finally be hearing feedback from Shantae about our concerns and ideas for PZ. Yeah, it's cool to kind of see Shantae like almost, you know, take that mantle and like she is so primed and ready to run with it. It's just like getting her kind of like totally comfortable and just ready, you know, ready to take that. Like she is absolutely going to be a community lead one day. I think if they just give her a chance. It seemed like when Bo first left, it kind of, not knowing the situation, you know, like obviously not being there personally, but it was just weird for a while. It really, I think, like took the wind out of her sails. I kind of know what she's going through too, because I kind of had a boss do that once. Her and I were super cohesive and, you know, just knew what was best for the business and how to run the business. And she took an opportunity that she she stumbled upon an opportunity she could not pass up on, and she left. And it was really like a gut punch. Now, the new person that come in to kind of take her place, super awesome, you know, just love her to death, but it's always a little different, especially when you have like 6-7 years of rapport with a certain person, and you know, it's just it was different. She actually even messaged me not long after she left and wanted me to come kind of be her assistant at the new place where she took the position at. But it was just like a major pay cut, and I'm like, my bills won't allow me to make that change. And so yeah, that kind of fell through. But so long story short, maybe Shantae was kind of going through that as well, kind of like with her mentor leaving, essentially taking a job that one couldn't pass up, especially in the gaming industry, you know. Getting to be a community lead at Guerrilla Games with all the Horizon Zero Dawn hype, and the, you know, that was just that was a no-brainer for Bo. Yep, her, like I said, her company could just not pay. And then she tried to convince me too. She's like, you know, as your pay will go up as the business grows, but you know, you can't, like mortgage company, like banks and stuff, they don't really, you know, care about what you're trying to, reshuffle with your life. They don't really care if you take a new job that makes less money. They just kind of need their money. So that definitely was just not an option. But, you know, it's weird though. I mean, I've been at the same place for like going on 10 years now, and I'm still happy with it. I mean, I'm like everybody, you know, everybody kind of almost dreads to get up and go to work in the morning, but it doesn't necessarily really have to do with the job. Like, I'm not dreading having to go in where I work as much as I just don't like getting up early in the morning. You know, once I get to work, I'm usually fine. But, so, you know, I think it worked out best for the both of us. She's crushing it. I never actually lost my job during the pandemic. You know, that's what I was kind of mentioning to a lot of people as far as your job goes and what line of work you're in. This, like, whole event was pretty telling, as far as, like, security goes and like, you know, what you're doing in the position you're in. And even with this happening, it showed me that I think I could pretty much be safe here. Like, we did make it through a pandemic, and they didn't have to lay me off. So, you know, what are you gonna do? I like that little stack, you guys. Doesn't that look stinking cool? Like the rock, like they've just framed it up right with the, kind of like right with the stacking of those rocks. You could just imagine inside there, like some big winding staircase, you know. I think that would be, I get like, every time I think of winding staircases, I think of Biltmore. You guys ever been to Biltmore? It's freaking awesome. Like, it's pretty like, it's one of those things where pictures don't do it justice, but like once you're standing there, you're like, oh my God, this was somebody's house. Kind of maybe just need one more little stack right there. Yeah, Bluefin, look up Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina. I think at one time it was like the largest private residence in the country. The Vanderbilts built it as like a summer home. So when they would come down from New York and stuff, that's where they would stay. kind of like where they would vacation, but it's a massive estate. Hope we get more detailed rocks like the ones from... Yeah, that would be cool. I will never turn down some new rocks. Ho ho, hello to the holiday season. Yep. We are almost there. Yeah, Holly, and you got to figure, like, around here, like, land is still cheap. So imagine back when they were looking for land, buying up land and building Biltmore, and like you could just imagine like the deal they got and all the thousands of acres they were able to grab up. Hey, thank you, Patrick. Thank you for stopping by for a little bit. We are rolling along here with our fantasy build. Next, we need to kind of... You know what I'm about to say. It's almost roof time. But we still have to get this covered with wood. So let's kind of keep rolling along just for a minute here. I know we said we're not going to cover up those windows too much, but I need to kind of box this off just a hair. Because you can see the stonework does go up this window. Oh man, Joe, that stinks. Well, I mean, if Amazon's cool to you, but I'm thinking it wasn't as cool as that zoo job was going to be. Leave this open for just a little bit more rock work. Go ahead and get this boxed in as well, because see, even with that little piece of wood, almost like a roof kind of meeting here, the window is still it's still pretty much boxed in. And sorry for you interior people, but you're just going to have to use your imagination, because I am not an interior guy. Little circle window ended up fitting pretty nice in there, didn't it? Might be able to back these off just a hair and kind of let this window breathe a little bit, but I think it came out okay. I was kind of a little worried at the beginning, but it kind of come into its own here with this rock work, complementing it. Let's see. Bluefin thinks, I think the otter will be part of a different pack than the seal and penguin. Could be. I think Jim was telling us yesterday the giant otter kind of goes a little more with like South America. Am I right? I think somebody was telling me that yesterday on the stream. I don't know, Rob. It depends on kind of if you, a lot of people, I don't know if you consider Animal Kingdom like a real zoo. If you don't, I would say, you know, where Mass Bandit's from, the Houston Zoo, that has some incredible theming. And of course, you know, the big guy, San Diego Zoo, but the Houston Zoo, I watched like a couple vlogs that he did. It seems like every couple of weekends he gets to go to the Houston Zoo, like just takes his wife and kids and stuff there for like a Saturday, and the theming at that zoo seems pretty incredible. So I would, like, as far as not going to many zoos, Houston definitely seems themed. And of course, like I said, the kind of like the big one, San Diego Zoo, also pretty incredible. And, you know, we can't, you know, we can knock Disney, but the Kilimanjaro Safari, the theming there with the, like if you've ever been and seen the, seen like the rock work where they take you through to see the lions, just incredible theming. And then, of course, you know, we've all seen the documentaries about like hiding air conditioning units and stuff for the animals, and you know, so all of that's pretty neat too. And they're really cool about the implied exhibits. You know, like where it doesn't look like there are any fences. It just looks like you're right there with them. That perspective that they put on, I think it's pretty cool as far as Disney goes. You know, it'd be cool if Planet Zoo actually had zoo tours. You know, like if the guests could like follow a tour around. You know, and like the little guy showed them like behind the scenes vet stuff, and like, wouldn't that be stinking cool? Or just little shows, like if the guy had a little microphone. Yeah, remember the that first little trailer did show us what looked to be like a little tour guy. All right, so you know what we need to do next. I need to find a good wood piece. What about this big guy? Could we halfway make this work? Don't. Of course, I got to cover that brick too. You guys hate that brick. Me too. I think that piece could work. You guys just have to give me a little time to kind of get it dressed up. because that's got to follow, you know, we've got a roof line that has to kind of come down that too. And we've got our trusty rock work here. We could use to like clean up some of this wood here too. Oh, Herman, that's going to be awesome. Just 230 days left. Thank you for your service, too. That was not an easy life, I am sure. You probably had some fun, but it probably was not the easiest at times. My grandpa was stationed in Okinawa for a while. This was in the 70s. Before that, he was actually, I believe he was a Marine before that, but I think when he was a Marine, you could not be married, or it was something like that. And he actually ended up leaving the Marines and going into the Air Force and spent 20 years in the Air Force. And I believe he retired in like 76. I believe. And when he retired, the last Air Force base he worked at was MacDill Air Force Base. And my grandma worked there too. She wasn't in the Air Force, but she worked at like the little, like the grocery store that was on base. And yeah, interesting times. Old ma'am on papa. My dad was in the Air Force too, but he did 4 years. My grandpa actually made a career out of it. He used to take us down to MacDill and we'd watch some of the air shows. The only thing, guys, that's just halfway irking me is still seeing that brick. But maybe, I wonder if we could hide that with this, maybe. Like as like a wooden border, you know? I just don't know if it has that. Does it have that thickness that we need? Not necessarily. Maybe we can make it work though. Hey, Sumi made it back. Sumi, what do you think of the main facade here? Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Like I said, sometimes you just have to let these builds play out. I don't know if Holly had much confidence in me when this first started, but I I think we're getting there. We're making some things happen. There we go. That kind of hides the brick pretty good. Then, of course, the roof will hide that little piece of brick sticking out. Just kidding, Holly. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. Holly said, I have faith. This is coming out pretty stinking cool. All the wood kind of matches up with that, with the exception of that, but that's okay. We can always cover that up. Yep, does give a little pop of detail here. So, what also looks like happens is there are... Hey, Mama Ortega! I didn't see her bamboo piece roof. I don't know how detailed we'll go, but it looks like it's gonna call for some pretty interesting customization here. But I want to see what this, I kind of want to see what the Australia, kind of that thicker, where's that thicker log piece? Right here. Because see, we've got some, we have some thicker pieces right here. So I'm just trying to visualize this. If this kind of runs this roof line. Okay, we may still be okay because it leaves this and keeps making its way up. But you know, it also gets a little smaller as it goes up. That just shortens the... Might have to keep the same like girth of the log all the way up because I think it may look a little weird if I go changing logs right at the top. See, it starts out down here, goes up, 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 turns, and then almost goes straight, like almost straight, has a little bend, and then up at that very top piece, it's straight. Like that's right there in the middle. And then you've got 3 pieces that come down over here. Kind of like that. So you got this one. It's almost kind of going to be the skeleton, the support of the roof. This one. And then this one kind of meets down here at the stone. So that's kind of the main bones of what our roof needs to be. That's kind of what we're aiming to cover. What about the habitat logs? That may work. Because it definitely kind of gives the appearance that these get a little smaller as they make their way higher up on the roof. I mean, which makes sense. You would think your larger support would be more, you know, centered down towards the towards like the base of the house. All right. So let's see if maybe, I'll tell you what, let's just, I know we're going to have to most likely go custom, but let's just see kind of what we're dealing with here. See if I can get any kind of, I don't think we're really going to be able to get any kind of template because all of this, the angle is just not right, you know? It's going to have to be custom. See how it's just, if I could turn that, like if we had that Z-axis where I could just tilt that back a little, we could, I think we could make it work, but we're going to have to custom roof this. Yep. Sure will. That's okay though. I mean, inverted roof piece. I don't think that's going to work either. Oh, the shingles. You know, I could frame it like this. Try to get a good frame, like almost like plywood. Then come in once I decide like what shingle I can use. Okay, so the roof will hang back a little bit off of those. Because see, those, like it looks like they're little, his little pegs kind of stick out a little. At least this will kind of give us something to go off of with the shingles. And then we'll frame this up as well, kind of hide that. The Arctic pack, yes, I think you're right. So that'll be cool too. Kind of a steep little roof, isn't it? Oh yeah, Jake. As soon as Carlos G is done with Suyana, we'll jump back in it too. And then of course we got to start our polar exhibit as well, or our polar station. I don't even know if I'll be able to use that as a template because that comes down on such a funky angle. Let me go into the Arctic pack and start looking for some shingle pieces. See if they have any I think we can use. Square is a little thick. the gray curved wood pieces. Have I selected them already? This? I don't know, it's almost like they're kind of too thick. Can I make these maybe lock together as like a shingle? Doesn't really have the texture I'm looking at. Oh, I see what you're saying. Use some of those to plan out the roof and then put shingles on top of it. Kind of have to figure out in this little gap too, because you can see in the picture there's like, you know, that is covered. Too big. Way too big. Too big. This would work if the curve here was like sunk in. Yeah, could be just the kind of the perspective that we're looking at it. I mean, we've come this far. I definitely don't want to, like, you know, take the lazy way out of this. I think we're going to have to custom roof it. I just don't know with what. With what? Curved wall pieces, but does it let you I don't think it lets you invert them like that, does it? Nope. That's a pretty cool little beam. Well, big beam. Let's just think about this. Could I use a door? Would any kind of door maybe? That may give us some kind of little shingled look. Kind of boxed off a little. Let's see here. There's that. Okay, that would pass through a little too much. Okay, that would get me to there before I'd have to turn. Huh. Hold on just a sec. I may be onto something here with this little window thing. Arctic window. See you, Bluefin. And see, I slightly have the ability to curve these. This is a steep roof. By golly, this may work. We may have found our deal with the little door, little window. And that clears that. If I had to, I could bring the logs up just a hair. Because the logs aren't the problem, it's this roof. May want to bring that down just a little bit though. Spicy Bean said, anybody that's doing maintenance on this, they are going to wonder what they're doing with their life. The only thing is our concept art, that swoop right here isn't necessarily that dramatic. Let's see what it looks like filled in. Bink, 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 bink. Bink, 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 bink. Then I could add some of the, I could add some of those other little Arctic pieces every, like kind of stagger them. Only thing is, these pieces will definitely work, but the concept art roof line is a lot more elegant than this. Like, that's too, that turn I did right there was too much of a hard turn. I kind of need to bring that down a little more subtle. See, that's too much of a drop right there. All right, let's see if we can make this work a little better. Because we still have to go down pretty low. Maybe just not as like a sheer drop as I had it. There, that's already looking better. Hey Finn, we are building just a kind of like a fantasy house slash cottage slash we don't know what. Just kind of doing like a fantasy build. You could turn it into like an insect house or a nocturnal house. There we go. That doesn't look as doesn't look as off now. That first way just looked a little weird. I mean, of course we are weird, but not necessarily that weird. There, we have got us a... That wasn't... If we can get this to look right and get this wood filled in, this isn't going to be as painful as maybe we first thought it was going to be, you know? I think I can put something like a little slit down through there too to break the roof up a little bit. Holly's like, weird. I resemble that remark. All right, for now, let's do one more set. Dun, 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 dun. And one more time here. That'll give us kind of the base of the house covered. Whoops! What the hell? Let's try this again. Okay, Stenwolf, get it in place. and click. All right, and now Sumi is saying just copy this top section. Maybe one more. Ding, 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 ding. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see if we can sync this up here. That is actually not too bad. I will recenter that top log. Just the roof is going to be 1,000 pieces. What's this little fella doing out here still? Oh, we've got it attached to 2 pieces. Okay. Sorry, guy. You got to go. All right. Thank you for joining S-Dan on How Crooked Can We Make This House? It's okay. We're fine. Everything's fine. Even that's going down a little bit. Hold on a minute. We can fix this. I can fix this. Everybody just chill. Okay, remember these have to stick out a little bit, but we're going to kind of start filling this in, and of course we have to, might be able to do one of those planks or something like you guys were talking about to give it some character and fill in those slots here, these little slits. Okay, that touches. Stop touching me. We've got that. Yeah. Easy to get the angles off on this, isn't it? And look, I've kind of got that one bending down a little, but that's all going to be hid, so it doesn't even matter. Bring that a little closer. Just a little bit. Stop touching me. Oops, and we got to bring it out some because remember it kind of protrudes a little bit. Out a little bit, please. I just cannot, when you're working on these roofs, I cannot get a good camera angle on this without shooting us out into the everspace. Bring you out a little. You're going to come out and play a little. We need you out here, please, sir. The top one's decent. Okay, now we have got to find a respectable way to kind of fill this in. It's kind of psychologically messing with me, like that piece is a little higher than that one. Does that look better? I mean, this will hurt your brain staring at this too long, but... Okay, now let's see if I can get some kind of piece. Preferably an Arctic piece that we can use to kind of make this like uniform almost. Would the back of the door work? What do you have here, sir? That may work to make it to where we don't have to have it so uniform with the smaller pieces. You know what I'm saying? We've got kind of this these clean edges here. Hey, you know, we could do like Holly said, we could have our wood, like our main little wood piece here, and we'll put one of those Arctic kind of like pieces on it, and we could fill around it with stone. Let's just see what it looks like real quick. Let me go back and look for this. What do we want? We've got the carving wolves. Does that look okay, or is the deer? Dang, that deer looks pretty cool. So that's kind of like the main piece up at the top. And then I could kind of maybe plug some mortar and stone in around these pillars. So the wood kind of breaks the stone up down here in the windows. Then the stone comes back. Hold on, Holly. You may be on to something here. Let me just try this. I don't suggest trying this at home, but I am a semi-professional, so just stand back. Actually, no, I'm not. I have no clue what I'm doing. Do not listen to me and do not attempt this. Ooh, this could look kind of cool with this beam sandwiched in between the this roof line. Look, you all counted me out like 15 minutes ago. You didn't know where in the world we would go with this. Don't ever count OS Dan out. Yeah, Immortal. I just play one on YouTube. Do not follow in my footsteps, whatever you do. Because, you know, this stonework right here, it almost kind of plays into the whole weirdness and fantasy of the house, you know? Hold on, I went a little too high with those. Well, kind of got to dial that back a little bit. And maybe up at the, I don't know, maybe up at the very top I can do, I can work in some kind of wood pattern, but as far as filling this in goes, man, that roof did not come out that bad, all things considered, did it? Really goes with the silhouette of the house. Nice. We just got to figure out what we're going to do with this mess. Don't look there. We will just pretend that is not there. Whoopsie. Well, thank you, Holly. And thank you for the stone suggestion. I think it's got the potential to work out pretty cool if we can play our cards right here. Yeah, put it up against a rock wall. Did you all ever think you'd be sitting here watching me place this many pieces of stone? Hey, thanks, Savannah. Yeah, we're rolling along here. We're trying to make something happen. Oops, come on now. There we go. Go back in your hole there. Come on, camera, cooperate with us. Man, those natural rocks, they are just killer for filling in these little irregular gaps I have going on. Glad we tried that. Joshua. December, I'd say. I'd say we got one coming to us in December. And I don't even gamble, but if I did, I'd say December. We'll have us some new toys to play with here. Definitely don't think we wait until January. Now, what it will be, I have no clue, unfortunately. That is the big question. What are they going to throw at us next? Extend that roof just a little bit to kind of hide that edge. Yeah, it's like Joe said, you all could put a staff facility inside here or even make it some kind of restaurant or, you know, something. This is just really for like if anybody has those just off the wall, crazy fantasy type builds going on, you know. This could help be one of like your main street buildings or something. Yeah, there are a lot of people waiting for penguins. Well, guys, I thought that may work, but that might just be a little... Well, I was going to say it might be a little too thick, but it just kind of pokes out on the roof just a hair. I think we could live with that. Yeah, the little penguins, they are a pretty good staple. I think Savannah had a good idea with switching to these habitat, the habitat logs, because that trend, like I think that would have just been too thick, kind of sticking with those four. So good call on that, Savannah. Yeah, a lot of people want meerkats. That's a big one. Especially if they come with some kind of a digging animation. See if this would work as like a decent little slit here. Whoops. Hey, that actually wouldn't be too bad right here. That kind of gives the roof line a little more character. See how that kind of almost like it's propping that top beam up? Let's just see what it looks like kind of all the way across here. Kind of don't know how much shifting I'll have to do. I think that kind of gives it a little pop that the roof was missing, don't you all? Oh yes, I want sloths too. Those would be so stinking cool. I don't know, are sloths are we talking more like South American type deal with the sloths? Not actually sure where sloths come from. I just know I love them. Well, we know one thing. These filled in the gaps perfect. I wasn't even planning on this, like this gap being the width of this kind of like bent Arctic beam. Central America and South America, Panama, Costa Rica, Brazil, within the tropical forests that are found there. We need sloths in our lives. Hopefully they make that happen one day. Oh, so you were talking about these big bent pieces in here, like to cover our little slots. Good thinking. I remember you said that. Good suggestion. I think these will work magnificently. If I can get the angle right. Yeah, because it kind of just gives a subtle little bit of pop to this roof, doesn't it? Let's look at it from the top. Got to go back. That kind of works. Kind of tell how horribly my roof is aligned. But we won't make too big of a fuss about that. Because we've got another roof that kind of has to, you know, arc its way over here. Beavers. We need beavers. I built an implied beaver habitat in Pine Creek, if you all remember correctly. I think the bottom of the roof, we can kind of just do that with it. And kind of just call it a day on that. Don't see any really terrible Z fighting. And using the one set of big arch pieces here, that's like just enough to give it a little pop. Dang guys, I've kept you all here for 2 stinking hours. I don't even know what time it is, 9:30? Phew, I guess what we will do is wrap this up here now that we got past the really scary part. And we can kind of focus, looking at the art, we can kind of focus tomorrow probably on that next protruding roof piece that has an interesting balcony to it. See it here on the, wait a minute, I'll make it bigger for you guys. Let me go back to OBS, make this just a hair bigger. And see, we've got that big balcony that sets up there. It looks like it has 2 logs that are supporting the roof, that little kind of protruding roof. And we need to get a fireplace over there. And we also need a fireplace kind of protruding out of the back over here, it looks like, or maybe almost from the center of this roof. That's going to be a pretty cool little building, isn't it? I mean, it's not going to be very useful to many of you, but still going to look cool. Oh yeah, we'll definitely get it added to the workshop. But yeah, we will keep rolling with this, guys, and see what you all think. And like I said, I should be able to jump on tomorrow. We were going to do this last night, but with all the action going on with that live stream, I was like, I was going to come back, but at that point it was already like 8:50, so I'm like, let's not get into something this deep that late. So, but yeah, guys, I will go ahead and jump on out of here. Like I said, I've kept you here for 2 hours. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and you'll hopefully get a little ping when we go live tomorrow. Maybe we'll try to do it a little earlier on Sunday too, maybe. And yeah, just kind of get in here and get this wrapped up before we move on to the Polar Ranger station. And here in just a little bit, I'll get a good picture of this together and put it on the socials too, or maybe in the morning. So look for me on Twitter and Instagram at @SDanWolf. And yep, you will see our progress on there as well. So anyways, guys, I'll jump on out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Come back and hang out with me. See you guys.